Are you recording? All right. Hi, I'm Trey.
And I'm Amy.
And we're out here.
Hi, I'm Amy. We're out at Dick's Park.
And since we can't do sunflowers this year, we thought we would get together and try to do something special for everybody. I live in an apartment and I can't grow a garden in my patio. And Amy today is going to show me how I can make potted plants in my patio. On my patio.
And container gardens can be placed anywhere. On a front step, on a patio, or even in a yard. So, first off, we've got a pot. 12-inch is minimum size you're going to want. And what's in the bottom there, Trey?
It's a hole. Why is there a hole at the bottom of the pot?
There is a hole so that water can drain out. It's really important when you're planting your container garden that you find a container that has drain holes. All right, so first step is you want to put a few little rocks, or we've got some shards of an old pot in the bottom.
And what does that do? Why should I put it at the bottom of the...
So that helps the water drain slowly. So when you do a container garden, container gardens tend to dry out quicker than if you were to plant in the ground. So put those shards or rocks down at the bottom.
Does it matter how I put them, or
No,
just around the hole?
it doesn't even matter.
Okay.
And now if you want to go ahead and get your potting mix, and this is potting soil that includes some good slow release fertilizer, and it also includes something called perlite, which are the little white specks there that help retain water as well. So fill it up about halfway.
All right.
Okay, so now that you've got the soil about halfway, you want to go ahead and we're going to start with the largest plant we have here. And this is called Rudbeckia. It's also known as a black-eyed Susan. And so this is a plant that pollinators love. And since we're honoring our sunflowers that didn't happen this year in Dick's Park with a pollinator plant, and pollinators are things such as insects such as bees, butterflies, beetles, birds, and even those pesky wasps.
Wasps?
Yes.
Wasps pollinate?
Yes, they do. They do. So go ahead and remove that gently from the pot.
Right.
Tilt it a little bit. Yep, there you go. And then a lot of times, like this plant, you'll see the roots have kind of gotten pot bound. So you want to rough up the roots a little bit before you put it in the pot.
And why do we rough them up?
You rough them up to stimulate growth. So since you're transplanting it from a smaller pot to a larger pot, you want the plant to settle into its new home, and you want those roots to grow so that the plant will be strong and be able to continue to produce flowers.
All right.
Okay, so go ahead and put it in the pot.
Just put it right here?
You know, why don't we move it, push it towards you, towards the back, because we have a few other plants that we can add in as well.
All right.
So press it down to make sure that there's no air. There you go. Okay. And I would go ahead and put a little more potting soil around that plant. And so we've got room to put a few more plants. And this, so we've got the black-eyed Susans, and then we've got these, this bright yellow kind of green is called a Coleus. And I should have mentioned the Rudbeckia, the black-eyed Susan, is actually a perennial, so it will come back every year. The Coleus is an annual, which means it lives for 1 year. Now you could move this inside your house, like once it gets cold and when it's winter, you could move it into your house, put it in another pot and put it in some bright sun, and then it'll survive the year. You could put it back outside next summer.
All right.
But yeah, that's right. Rough up the roots a little bit. Perfect.
All right, and then
and just put it in there.
Right here?
Sure. And there goes our potting soil.
Right.
So maybe add a little more soil around, put it on this side of between the Coleus and get that. When you're putting plants into a container, a lot of times there are air pockets between the plants, and that air pocket will dry out, will facilitate the drying out of the roots, and we don't want those roots to be dried too much. Okay, we've got 2 more little Coleus, and we've also got an ornamental pepper. Just see what'll fit.
And what's this one?
That is an ornamental pepper plant. So it is another plant that, this is an annual. The dark purple, it has a purple flower which will attract pollinators. So pollinators are responsible for 85% of the food and fiber production of all the foods we eat. So pollinators are attracted to the nectar of the flowering plant and also the pollen. So you'll need to fill in, any of the holes you see.
All right.
Kind of tuck in some soil
To make
there.
sure there's no air pockets.
That's right.
Is placement of the plants inside important?
No, it's just an aesthetic.
Just an aesthetic?
Just a plucky aesthetic. I'll press that down. And so the crown of the plant, you always want the plant to sit a little above the soil level. Trey has done an excellent job. Now, all of these plants require full sun in order to thrive. So we'll want to make sure that once we're done with this, Trey, you can put this on your patio if you've got full sun. Beautiful.
So now all I have to do is put it out on my patio and make sure it gets full sun?
Full sun, and it's going to need water.
Water?
Regularly.
Regularly? How
Yes.
much? How often?
So what you do is, without a glove, you can touch the soil, and if the top inch of the soil feels dry, then it's time to water.
All right.
So probably if it's out in the full sun in these North Carolina, 97-degree days during the summer, it's probably going to need water every other day.
All right. So should I give it a little drop of water?
I think so. And you want to water it until you see some water coming through that drain hole. So on your patio, you might also want to add a dish underneath that pot so that you don't drip on your neighbors down below. I think, Trey, you're going to be a fabulous gardener.
At least eventually.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. And I'm going to put this on my patio and make sure it gets lots of sun.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.